Hey guys, it's Big Mike. Like always, I want to thank you for being here today. So today we've got two presenters. One is Bob from Mirrors Futures, handling the ZenFire side of things, and the other is Stan from MultiCharts to answer all the questions about the platform. So as you guys may know, MultiCharts Zen-Fire partnered recently in order to really integrate the product better with MultiCharts and provide some new capabilities. So the webinar today is going to focus on a few things. One, how to get started with Mirrors Futures and get your ZenFire credentials. Two, how to set up ZenFire inside of MultiCharts. We're going to go through charts, how to add it to Quote Manager, how to do some custom charts and some studies using ZenFire data. And Stan's also going to talk about just MultiCharts in general, like a high-level, big picture overview of some of the capabilities of MultiCharts. And then if you guys have any questions about ZenFire or Mirrors Futures, Bob's going to cover all of that. So what we're going to do is start off with Bob at Mirrors Futures /ZenFire, and then we'll turn things over to Stan as soon as he's done. If you have questions along the way, type them into the box, and both presenters will do their best to answer the questions. All right, guys, hang on one second, and here comes Bob.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mike, for the introduction. Just want to make sure before we get any further that you guys can all see my screen and hear me, so just feel free to type that into the chat window. Great. Again, I really want to thank both Mike for having us this afternoon and Stan for joining us for the second half of today's presentation. Again, we're going to be covering the topics of ZenFire and MultiCharts. I'm first going to go through a lot of questions that come through on the Mirror side, on the brokerage side, pertaining to, who are the parties involved in a trading account, market data options for use with your trading platforms, and the importance of the market data and how it can affect your trading. And then I'm also going to introduce, how that can be used to select a platform. And at that point, I will kick it over to Stan, who will take you through the setup of MultiCharts with ZenFire and show you the platform. After a Q&A session, we'll kick it back over here, and I'll show you how to get started with the demo account. So one of the main questions that we get asked a lot as brokers is, who are all the parties and what are their roles? And there's a lot of names when you get started with futures. If you're coming from an equity trading world, you pretty much just register with your broker and they provide all the services for you. With futures, it's a little bit different. And as an introducing broker, Mirrors and its clients work with futures commission merchants or clearing firms who actually have three main purposes. First, the clearing firm holds the customer funds in a segregated bank account in the name of the account holder. Those funds are only accessible by you to leverage and margin trades that you take in the futures contracts. At the end of each day, trades are going to be cleared by the FCM, and at that point, they'll provide you with daily, monthly, and year-end statements. So really, those are their three core responsibilities as a clearing firm. They work with introducing brokers like Mirrors so that Mirrors becomes really the face of to the customer. Mirrors, really, our focus and our primary objective is to provide you, our customers, with the tools and support necessary for trading so that you can meet and exceed your expectations and meet your goals. So some of the tools that we provide are, first, the front-end software. So this is going to be MultiCharts. MultiCharts is just it's a piece of software, like anything else that you download on your computer to use, whether that's a game application or a document application like Microsoft Word. MultiCharts is an analysis tool and a tool that you guys can use to execute orders. Now, on the back end, ZenFire is the trading engine that our clients use to connect that piece of software to the exchange. And that's where everything is happening. That's where bids and offers from around the world are coming in, and where they're matched up so that trading takes place. So ZenFire is used not only for unfiltered tick data directly from the exchange, but it's also used for order execution for our clients. One thing that gets overlooked with ZenFire is that Mirus and brokers like Mirus use ZenFire for risk management tools as well. Mirus is one of the few introducing brokers out there that manages risk on its own in-house. A lot of brokers rely on the clearing firm for this responsibility, but what that allows us to do by managing it in-house is really serve you as a trader very efficiently in terms of handling emergency situations. So we can in emergency situations, you can call us 24 hours a day when markets are trading and really understand if you have orders, understand your positions. We can, flatten positions and cancel orders, etc. in a very quick and efficient manner. In the last piece, and really one of the best pieces to working with Mirus Futures is excellent customer experiences. Mirus Futures is really focused on providing excellent customer experiences. It's ingrained as one of the key components to our culture, and that's going to play a large part in helping us achieve our primary objective in providing you with the tools necessary for you to meet your goals. So I'm going to switch gears, and another one of the questions that we get asked quite a bit, and really one of the fundamental questions that should be asked by any trader when you're trading electronically is, what is the source of my data? Where is the data coming from? And what advantages does certain data have over others? Well, there's really two sources of data. The first is a data vendor. A data vendor gathers historical data from the exchanges. They then normalize that data. They remove bad ticks and busted trades that the exchange busts. And it's really primarily used for technical analysis purposes. This also allows data vendors to create synthetic continuous contracts used by many systems developers for backtesting purposes. So its primary focus is to provide data for analysis, and a lot of times that's used by automated systems developers to backtest their systems, make sure that they're functioning properly. For data vendors, speed's not really a concern. They're most concerned with ensuring that all the data is processed by the end user by sending ticks in the order that they're received. So this data vendors are ideal for systematic traders who base trading decisions on pattern recognition and formulas, even if that data is not keeping up with the live market. Now, a trading engine, on the other hand, really serves the end user and provides them with the most up to the second data as possible, so the trader is always aware of where the live market is trading. ZenFire was actually created, and ZenFire is an example of a trading engine. If you're looking for examples of data vendors, you can look at some names like IQFeed. You can look at bar charts and eSignal. All of those are examples of data vendors. A trading engine has a few key differences, and ZenFire is an example of a trading engine. Trading engines provide direct market access, again allowing you to pull data directly from the exchange as it's happening, so that you're kept up with the live market. And ZenFire was actually created because professional traders, including some of the largest banks out there and trading firms as well, demanded a product that would allow them to see the live market as it was happening. Many other providers would aggregate, in other words, filter the data and send it in small bursts every so often. ZenFire really gives you a peek at what's going on at the very moment you're watching it, so that you're never at a disadvantage in knowing where you can get in or out of a trade. Many traders will actually use both data vendors and trading engines in conjunction with each other. Like I said, a lot of systems developers test their system and then use data vendors to run their systems that are based on pattern recognition and formulas. Trading engines are really built for two things: knowing where the market's trading, and then the other key differentiating factor with a trading engine is that it allows you to route orders to the exchange. So when you actually click the buy or the sell button on your platform, ZenFire, a trading engine, is what allows you to get that order to the exchange. And so that's probably the biggest differentiator, is that when you're using just a data vendor, it doesn't actually have an order execution component. So a trading engine like ZenFire provides unfiltered, unaggregated data. It is co-located with the exchanges, which I'll show you here in a minute is a key component for speed and reliability. Main focus is to provide low latency pricing information and routing to and from the exchange. Again, there's that component of risk management, and it also provides hosting solutions for automated strategy developers. So let's take a look at the market data functions and order routing with ZenFire. So when you're trading from your computer, and you're here, you're the trader, you're actually pulling data from the exchanges. The exchange is sending that through the ticker plant, which is co-located. This is all part of ZenFire here. This is all part of ZenFire. The exchanges send that data through the ticker plant. It then leaves the data center through the security checkpoints, what's called the demilitarized zone, and the firewall at the data center. Then travels through the internet. And really, the internet is the point which is just a big question mark, because you don't know exactly how long it's going to take through the internet to finally reach you. Now, it travels, when you place an order from your computer, it travels through the internet again. and then finally reaches the data center. Goes through the security checkpoints and through the order plant here, and then finally along to the exchanges. Now, I mentioned on my previous slide that ZenFire offers hosting solutions for automated systems developers. And the reason that I mention this is that if you are an automated systems developer and you were using a data vendor for your data, you can completely remove that piece of the puzzle. You no longer, if you're co-located, you no longer have to use both a data vendor and a trading engine to send and receive market data and to function at the same way that you expect in your backtesting. And the reason is what we call virtual machines or dedicated co-location solutions. This allows you to bypass the internet completely, and you work incongruent with the exchange with very low latencies, and it allows you to receive market data in a fraction of a second, and also send orders to the exchange in a fraction of a second. And that's really important for some automated systems developers to be towards the front of the book when they're sending orders to the exchange. Let's take a look at how orders are handled at the exchange. So regardless of where you're trading from, whether it's a computer at your home or through one of our hosted solutions, the stop orders are always going to have the first priority. And when you send an order to the exchange, it travels directly there to the exchange where it's held in a queue and is filled on a first in, first out basis, or FIFO. Stop orders, when they're sent, if a stop order reaches the exchange at the same time that a limit or market order gets sent there, stop order is going to have first priority in placement. Stop orders are used to enter the market, but they can also be used as a protection against adverse price movements to exit a position. It really depends on your trading strategy, on how you're going to be using stop orders. Market orders get second priority for placement at the exchange. They are going to fill you at the next available market price. So that means a buy market order will fill at the best offer price, the price that the world is willing to sell something at, and a sell market order is going to fill at the best bid, the best price that someone's willing to pay. Now, limit orders, last priority for placement at the exchange, and we're talking about microseconds here in terms of priority, but it can be even larger than that. It really depends on where the limit order is placed. An example of why they get the last priority is if you're placing a limit order 20 points away from where the market's currently being traded, it obviously doesn't need to get to the exchange as quick as a market order. Okay. Limit orders will provide a fill at the price the order is placed or better. So if there's a better price available, at the time that you place your limit order, it's going to fill it at the better price. So a couple of things that you want to consider when you're making a selection for a platform. What brokerage technology is used with the platform? What is, what are you using for market data? What are you using for order execution? We provide our clients at Mirus with ZenFire because it's proven over the years to provide our clients with the fastest and most reliable way to send and receive market data and orders to the exchange. What type of order entry are you most comfortable with? So what I mean by that is, are you most comfortable trading from a depth of market window or an order book? Or would you rather place orders directly from the chart? If you're old school, do you want to use an order ticket? So these are considerations that you want to make before selecting a platform. Do you have defined order entry and position management strategies? Do you rely on signals, whether that's from tape reading or certain indicators to define where your entries are going to come? And then afterwards, do you have specific exit strategies that you can integrate with some of the tools in a platform and not manage those exit strategies manually? What kind of market analytical tools do you require? Whether that's charting and analysis tool, market analysis tools, customizable tools where you might want to write or purchase a third-party market analytical tool to use with the platform. Lastly, are you an automated strategy developer? And this is a key one because as you'll see a little bit later on in the presentation, MultiCharts has a lot of tools specifically for use with for automated strategy developers. So one of the reasons that we partnered with MultiCharts is that it offers a lot of the things that I just mentioned all within one package. And tools for discretionary traders, Stan's going to be showing you these. Has multi-time frame charting and analysis tools. You can trade directly from the chart. You can trade on a DOM or a depth of market window with predefined entry and exit strategies, which is a unique feature. And it has a lot of tools for automated traders as well. Power language support and a power language editor so that you can create, customize, and revise your automated trading strategies. It allows for dynamic portfolio backtesting. Stan will probably mention the new 64-bit version of MultiCharts 8 allows you to do backtesting a lot swifter using a lot less computer processes than ever before. They have some very unique strategy optimization and performance reporting tools as well to make sure that you're getting the most out of your strategy after you've built it. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Stan, and after Stan's presentation, he's going to take you through the setup and connection with ZenFire and show you some of the tools. Stan and I will both be answering questions that you have, whether that's pertaining to ZenFire and Mirror's futures or pertaining to the software itself. So if Stan, you can jump on now, that would be great.
Hey, Bob, there's a few questions right now. Did you want to get those now, or you want to wait to the end?
Let's see.
We got DW.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, DW wants to know if you can say who you're clearing through, who's your FCM.
Yeah, absolutely. Mirror's is what's known as an independent introducing broker, and that means that we're not guaranteed by any one clearing firm. So we work primarily with Rosenthal Collins Group and Dorman Trading for our clearing relationships. And they both have excellent reputations. That's why we choose those two particular firms for the majority of our business. And something that speaks to their reputations, a little side story here. When the MF Global situation happened a few months back, if you've read the news at all, you would have known the story. the CFTC, which is the main regulatory agency for the futures world, named 5 firms to accept customer funds from MF Global after they declared bankruptcy. And both RCG and Dorman Trading, our clearing partners, were named as 2 of those 5, and we really feel that speaks to their reputations and solid financial standing.
Okay, great. And then David has a question. If you could provide another example of a trading engine.
Another example of a trading engine would be something like Trading Technologies.
Okay, and Bob would like to know what the latency is to your site.
To our site. Our site is actually not hosted, in the same location as the trading engine. So, really, the latency to our site shouldn't be your concern. It's the latency to get to the data center. And latencies are going to depend, if I can go back to my slide here, latencies are going to depend on, one, where you're at in the world. If you are here as the trader and you are in Chicago and the exchanges are in Chicago, then the internet is a small portion of the equation in terms of how long it takes to get there. But if you're trading from Malaysia, your speed using the internet to get to the exchange is going to be a lot longer. So that's why I said earlier that the internet is really the big question mark in terms of your latencies or expected times to get your orders to the exchange and to receive market data from the exchange. And if you're an automated systems developer, our hosting options, whether it's a dedicated co-location or through one of our virtual machines, allows you to take the internet out of the equation, and you would have a direct connection with the exchange. It's really not useful for discretionary traders, people that are just click trading, because you're still connecting from your computer at home to this is basically a computer here, and there's still that internet speed that requires you to get to the exchange before you can see the data that's here and decide whether or not to place an order. So really this option is for automated strategy developers, but average ping times from in the United States can range from 50 to 70 milliseconds. Some are going to be less than that. If you're overseas, it could be a lot more than that, 300 milliseconds or more. It really all depends. It depends on network activity as well. And ZenFire doesn't have control over a lot of the providers out there. ZenFire can manage its relationships within the data center, and it also peers with a number of ISPs and other providers out here in this cloud space to ensure that the right routes are being used to get you to this data center where everything takes place. So I hope that goes a little ways to answer your question there, Bob.
Sure, and I've got a couple questions as well on that. Does ZenFire have any gateway servers in Europe or other continents, or is it only Chicago?
Absolutely. We peer a lot of other places. We have servers in Frankfurt, and we have established a POP in Amsterdam that's dedicated for our users, so that there was a time several years ago where it would take European users a lot longer to receive market data, and part of that was their proximity to us, but that was also in part because they were using a shared line to get across the ocean. Well, we established the POP in Amsterdam so that our users would have their own dedicated line, fiber connection, so that they would be able, European users and people in the Middle East would be able to get faster market data and order routing.
Okay, great. And Bob had a follow-up question on the latency. Can you comment specifically on the latency between your gateway server like in Chicago and the exchanges, processing servers, the order servers?
It's all going to depend because, again,
Are you in the same building?
as we saw before.
I'm sorry. Are you in the same building?
Yeah. No, we're
okay. And you're moving to the Aurora?
Absolutely.
You're going to Aurora
Yeah,
location
we have presences in Aurora and the Cermak data center. As we saw before on the order handling slide, your orders are going to be placed in the order that they were received, but the ping times between our servers and the exchanges is less than a millisecond. That doesn't mean that your order is going to be filled in less than a millisecond or even be placed in less than a millisecond, but the ping times between our servers and the exchange are measured in microseconds.
Okay, and just a couple more questions. And guys, I'm going to say at this point, let's stop new questions. I'll finish the ones that are on the screen. We'll turn things over to Stan. If you have any other questions, we can go back at the end. But just a couple more before we turn things over. One more question for me. Bob, can you clarify or make it clear to me the relationship between Mirrors Futures and ZenFire?
Yeah, absolutely. Mirrors Futures was established 8 years ago. We were the first broker to offer the ZenFire solution, and Pat Shaughnessy of ZenFire and Elliot Wickersheimer of Mirrors Futures both created the brokerage arm, Mirrors Futures. And while Elliot really focused on building the business and the relationships with exchanges and educators and bringing in business development and business, it was really to get ZenFire users, and Pat was really the driving arm on developing and maintaining ZenFire, and ZenFire then spun off as its own company several years later.
Okay, and can you comment on ZenFire versus Rhythmic?
Yeah, ZenFire collaborated with Rhythmic in 2004 to design and develop software that would integrate with the ZenFire network solution. And ZenFire really specializes on building and maintaining global networks used for exchange connectivity. They partner with tier 1 providers and a lot of other network providers, and they use only the latest routing and switching technologies. The other main difference is ZenFire is completely unaggregated data, and on the network side, we're really more robust and and redundant.
My understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I always want to make sure I try to be as correct as I can. But ZenFire it's not just an OEM. You guys have actually got your own servers, and you've actually got some features and capabilities that you've designed yourself that are not part of Rhythmic. Am I right on that, or not?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, ZenFire really specializes on the building the global network and infrastructure side. Rhythmic was collaborated with back in the early stages to build the software. So ZenFire encompasses a lot of different global and exchange connections, and it's available for use with a lot of different front ends out there.
Right. Okay. Neil would like to know if you have the Australian features like the SPI. Do you have those?
Connections are primarily with CME, which encompasses a number of different exchanges like COMEX and NYMEX. Connects with ICE, with NYSE Life and Eurex, and several others in Europe. We are looking into expanding into Australia and Asia space. I don't know when that'll be, though. Okay.
Leo and Ken have similar questions, so I'll combine them. Are stop orders or any orders, or how about this? What orders are held natively on ZenFire server versus Exchange versus MultiCharts, and I understand that maybe we need to go to Stan to answer part of that too.
Well,
Which ones are client, which ones are server side?
yeah, I think what you want to look at more than where the order is held, because all the orders are sent directly to the exchange, no matter what order type it is. Okay, the part that you're most concerned with, or probably most concerned with, is if you're using exit strategies that encompass an OCO function, and OCO stands for one cancels other. Really, that's the function you want to know where that's being held, because most pieces of software have localized OCO functionality. So if you're using multiple orders, whether it's a profit target or a stop or their entry orders, if you have an OCO attached to them, all the orders are being held at the exchange. And it's the OCO function that if you should experience a disconnection or a power outage or something like that, that is localized to your machine. All of the orders that you sent are in line waiting to be filled.
All right. So it's okay. So OCO is on the client side. Okay. So here's the last question, and I know we have a lot more, but I'm going to cut it off here, turn things over to Stan, and then we'll resume all the questions at the end. So the last question for Bob is, can you say, Sam wants to know if you can say which hypervisor you're using for the virtual machines for your clients.
Which hypervisor?
He wants to know if it's Zen or VMware or Hyper-V.
I would speak to somebody at ZenFire. I don't know what specifically they're using, but
okay, so that'll be for later.
ZenFire would have an answer for you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So hold all the questions that you asked that did not get answered. Just go ahead and type them in one more time at the end of the presentation, and we'll get them answered. And I want to thank Bob. Bob's not going anywhere. He's going to be right here, but I am going to turn things over to Stan. So everybody hang on 1 second.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen here. Can everybody see good old MultiCharts? Perfect. Okay, my name is Stan. I'm from MultiCharts. I'd like to thank you all, first of all, for coming. Mike, thank you for hosting the webinar, and Bob, thank you for that very detailed presentation. I learned something new today as well, so that was good. Okay, so Bob has gone through the ZenFire and Mirrors parts. I'm going to talk about the actual platform that traders use for trading through Mirrors and ZenFire. So for those of you who have not ever heard of MultiCharts, I'm just going to be very kind of broad in terms of what it is, and then I'll go through the specific steps of establishing a connection to ZenFire so you can get started. Okay, so overall MultiCharts is a platform I've been developing for about 6 or 7 years. Essentially, it's a complete standalone trading package for receiving market data, doing technical analysis, and sending orders to a variety of brokers. We have partnered with ZenFire specifically to provide a better service for traders. It's a very popular broker and trading engine, so we thought a tighter integration would be beneficial for everybody. What makes MultiCharts special or different from other trading platforms? Well, there are many nuances. The main thing that makes it different is easy language compatibility. It is the only platform aside from TradeStation that understands easy language to an extent that's useful for a trader. So essentially, if you find any easy language scripts online, you can simply import them and they will work. I will go through other points later on. Again, questions at the end if you have any. So let's go through the platform. So what I have in front of me right now is, it may look a little scary at first. There's a number of things on here. A chart, a depth of market window, data window on the left, a manual trading panel on the right-hand side, a trade bar at the top for placing orders individually, and we got an order and position tracker at the bottom for monitoring the actual orders that went through. strategy positions, logs, counts, that sort of thing. Okay, but I just pulled this up so it doesn't look empty. When you actually open MultiCharts, it looks like this. So it looks completely blank, and then you go on and you build, add charts and different components that you want. So first, let's talk about establishing the initial connection to ZenFire. Okay. So with MultiCharts, we have a number of components that are separated here if you go into new. So there's chart scanners, quote manager, power language editor, and order and position tracker. So what we need to manage all of our data and data connections is the quote manager. I already have it pulled up. Essentially, it's like a spreadsheet sort of, as a database that allows you to manage your symbols from different data providers. At the bottom, you see a connection log that lets you know what's downloaded, what's going on, and so forth. Each symbol, there's a filter on the left according to the exchanges. Each symbol can be managed. You can do a lot with each symbol. If you right-click on it, you can edit this symbol. You can add more, delete it, import data into this symbol, export, edit it. You can connect it if you don't have a chart. You can still collect data. So all sorts of things. So when you first open up, you have access to a bunch of data sources, but obviously as you get a login to ZenFire, you need to enter this login and password so you get the data feed. So we go to Tools, Data Sources. I have a slow computer here, so it takes a bit of time to pull up. Here's a list of all possible data sources. So we go to ZenFire, and we go to Settings. And I have entered my login and password here. That's all you need to enter. Everything else is preset. An important thing to note here is this connection. If you're using a server SIM, so if you got a SIM account from them, make sure it's server SIM. If you got a live account, you got to choose ZenFire, and you see the connections. The connection settings change. Okay, so they're pre-filled. If something does change, you can change it manually, but you don't touch anything. So if your feed is SIM, then choose SIM. Fill it out, click OK, and we are good to go. I have one symbol currently added. It's not usually here. To add symbols from ZenFire to your quote manager, you go through this menu instrument, add symbol, data source, ZenFire. Now we are creating videos for all of this, so there is a video already on our website for adding symbols from ZenFire, so if you don't memorize this, that's okay. You type in the symbol that you're looking for, and you add it. Now, why did we do it this way? We didn't add all of the symbols initially to your quote manager, then you'd have tens of thousands of symbols, many of which you probably don't need. This way it's kind of a add as you go, so you only add the stuff that you need, so it's personal, so you don't have much clutter in your quote manager. So you look up the ES, you can add the current contract or the future one. If you're looking for something else, you can type it in, and you can select more than one at a time by holding down Control, or you can select a whole range by holding down the Shift. Okay. So once we have chosen a symbol, we click Add. We added the symbol, and it appears in our list. So type in the password, add the symbol. Now we are ready to basically get started with creating charts. These guys here are broker profiles. I'll go into them a little bit later. They are usually disconnected by default, so you see like red tabs here. So what we want to do is create a new chart. You can do that through File, New Chart. You can also click Insert, or you can click this button here. Okay, once again, slow computer, it's adding up. So what it's doing is we get this Format Instrument window, which is the beginning of any chart. You may have a different data feed chosen by default. You want to choose ZenFire. It'll show you all of the available symbols that you have added. So I've added one, so I have one choice to chart. If I forgot to add some, I can always click this convenient add button. Opens up the same window that we saw. We can add another symbol from here, and it'll appear in our list. Okay. So once we chose this, we can go into the Settings tab, and here we choose how we want our chart to look. So chart type, so regular, open, high, low, close, or you want an exotic chart. Many are supported. Here it's completely flexible. You can choose the resolution of 1 to, like 7 to 9 to whatever you want. And you can choose what it is you want. Do you want ticks? Do you want a range bar? Do you want seconds, minutes, hours, days, so on and so forth? So I'll do a typical 5 minutes. For detailed analysis, you can use Ask, Bid, and Trade series on the same chart. That's called multi-time frame, which is Bob was referring to. Again, we can go into that later. Choose a different session for your chart. How far back you want to go, a couple of days, or a few bars or so on. Choose a time zone for your chart. And that's about it. You can click OK at this point, or you can go into further customizing like styles, scaling, volume profile. But overall, you just choose the basic stuff and click OK. If everything's good, in a few seconds we will see a chart. So that's how a chart is created. See it here, so you always know what you got going on. This is the status line. You can see the close and the last here. They update as time goes on. All right. Next, what we want to do is get connected to a broker. So the brokerage. For that, when we introduced manual trading last year, we introduced this thing called the broker profiles. So they look like tabs, like in Chrome or Internet Explorer. And they correspond to different brokerage connections. You can have more than one active at the same time. For example, the local SIM for ZenFire or the server SIM for ZenFire, you can have both. So this is how you add them. You go to File, Broker Profiles, Manage Broker Profiles. This Manage Broker Profiles is just like Quote Manager for data. This is for brokers. So you add and delete all profiles from here. So if you click New, you get a list of all available ones that we currently have. This one, ZenFire Live, ZenFire Local SIM, and ZenFire Server SIM. I already have them added. So what it is, when new add, and essentially this popped up. So ZenFire Server SIM, I entered the same login password as I did before. I have the same setup here, except I don't have much of a choice. And I click OK. Again, a video for adding a broker profile for ZenFire is also on our website soon. It's already made. It's going to be uploaded soon. So we can click Connect to test if everything is working correctly, and boom, we are connected. This button went green, and we are ready to trade. So this is, a few clicks, and that's all you really need to get hooked up to ZenFire. Okay, next points on the presentation is more about after you get connected, what do you do? So we got basic points of building and customizing charts with studies and easy language compatibility. Okay, after that, I'm going to talk about just a bit of the future of what we're planning to do with the platform, and then we'll take platform-related questions. Okay. So I will close this chart here, and we'll go to my pre-made workspace. So let's show up the depth of market window again. It's available through the View menu, different components. So the data window on the left, trade bar at the top. We want to show the dockable DOM window, which is something new in 8.0. Before it used to float around. Now we include it. See, it's floating. and we can dock it. Okay, so it's kind of convenient if you're trading for the same symbol. So we built this chart. Okay, before we get into trading, you may want to obviously analyze it with different indicators that you may have found or default ones. So to do that, you would right-click on the chart and say Insert Study. We call Indicators and Strategies Studies. Okay. Any particular strategy is called a signal, an indicator is an indicator. So here's a bunch of pre-made ones that we've included with the platform. These are by no means, this is by no means an exhaustive list of everything you can have. There's a lot of resources on Big Mics and other places on the web where you can download already prepared easy language studies. Great thing about easy languages is a lot of stuff has already been coded. And for example, let's apply the Bollinger So you select it, click OK. It's giving us a window where we can change certain inputs up ahead of time before we add it. Again, change the style, properties, all that stuff. If we're happy, we click OK, and then it appears in the chart. Pretty simple. Okay, so just like that, you can add more studies, and I'm going to delete this one. And once you are ready to trade, especially in the server sim, you can use the trade panel on the right-hand side. You can use the dome. You can use the trade bar at the top. Or you can trade with strategies or manual strategies. Okay, so let's go through each one of those components real quick. So if I just want to place a market order, I click on Buy Market, and it obviously opens up a position. You can see the fact that the order was filled down here. We've got an open position. You can monitor P&L. You can click through this little indicator here. As you can see, it changes up here as well. If you want to look at percent or pips or dollars. The position was also reflected in our depth of market window. So we've opened the position, and now we can place more orders by clicking in the depth market or the chart. Everything is context sensitive, so it really depends on where your mouse cursor is. It picks up the prices. Would you like to place this order? You can turn off this notification. Yes. It appears in the dome and on the chart. You could drag it around on the chart or on the dome. Everything works together. As you move it, it tells you, where you're going. If you don't like where you end up, you can press Escape to undo. It'll jump back to where it was before. You can also place, if we right-click on a price or a level, you can choose, do you want a stop market, limit, stop limit, or just market. So we can choose a stop market. Yes. And once again, it's placed. Oops. So we click stop limit. All right. So here we are. If we don't like where we are, we can just click and cancel them. We can reverse the position or close it using this thing here. You may end up with a lot of arrows on your chart from past historical fills that don't allow you to see what's really going on. So you can right-click and choose Format Chart Tree and Show Historical Orders. And OK. So now our chart is nice and clean. This top trade bar, it's pretty self-explanatory. When you don't need to pull up a chart. You can just place an order for, let's say, CL H2 that we added before. Now we're ready to place CLH2 NYMEX. Just want to do it. Okay, never mind. So SH2, so we can see the current price coming in. The menu will change into the market price that you've got going on. This is a quick calculator, how many you want to place, buy or sell. You can also quickly choose a price here, price chooser, choose the account, good till date, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the trade bar, so now it's out of the way. These things are entry and exit automation strategies. So we got entry strategies at the top, and we got exit strategies at the bottom. So these, again, are all rather large, sophisticated things that we can get into in significant detail. I'll just show you that they exist. When you float your mouse, it'll tell you what it is. So a stop order, a limit order, a stop limit, and here are some strategies like breakout strategy, breakout down and fade, and but more importantly, our exit strategies, which is what people usually go for, right? So we got a typical bracket, we've got a break even, trailing stop, stop loss, profit target, and we got a master strategy, which incorporates all 5 of these basically. So you can apply either one of these or any combination of these 4, kind of like building blocks, okay? So what we can do is just drag and drop it onto the existing position. We can choose how many % we want it off. Let's say 3, it'll auto-calculate the price. Or you can click the price and choose the actual price itself. Fewer parameters. You can also save it as a template. If you like a particular offset, then it'll add an additional icon over here, and you can auto-attach them to orders. So we can place this bracket strategy. Where did it go? We are submitted at 1393. We went way off. We are way off. So we can, let's say it's somewhere here, just so we have a better view of it. Okay. Okay. So this is an individual that we attached to this particular position. If we double click on an exit strategy, it gets a little green check mark. That means for every new position that we open, it'll be auto-attached with the particular settings that we created last time. Okay, so I just reversed the position, and as you can see, the new ones were submitted again, but now the stop loss is at the top and profit targets at the bottom. Okay, so enough of that. Let's close that. So that's the basics of manual trading. Now we get into last part of what I want to talk about before getting into the new features, and is the ability to auto trade and use easy language compatibility to your advantage. So we can minimize this panel here. MultiCharts has been a platform for automated trading for much of its existence, and we added manual trading only recently. So we did spend a lot of time in detail on perfecting how automated trading works. In automated trading, it means you have to pay a lot of attention so that the software does not crash. It can work without you being there, so like automate, so you can set it and leave, as opposed to having to constantly watch it. Okay, so there's a lot of things that went into it, and obviously can't cover it all now. But let's apply a strategy. Okay, so we go into signals, and each signal is an individual strategy, but the ones that we built in by default, they're split for your convenience into, again, building blocks. You can see some designated as LE, SE, and LX and SX. What these are, this strategy here takes care of only the long entry. That's what LE stands for. This takes care of the short entry, long exit, short exit. So you can apply 1, 2, 3, or any combination of these that you like For example, I will apply the LE and the SE together, so we're always flipping the positions. When you apply a strategy, you can do a lot of different things with it. Such the format will take us to this customization of mainly visual things. You can enable intra-bar order generation, which means you can create multiple orders per, let's say, a 5-minute bar, so based on ticks. You can open a script to edit the strategy. You can optimize the strategy, or you can go into the properties and change a number of things that have to deal with basically how your strategy works. So when we click closed, we get a bunch of orders on the chart. The red lines by default signify losing trades, ones winning trades. You can see a performance report of your strategy. It'll tell you many different things, but the basic one is, let's say, net profit here. If you don't like what your strategy is doing, you can optimize it, change it, but mainly people, here's where we get into the easy language side of things. We have the Power Language Editor, which is where you can write your scripts or edit the ones you find or change the existing ones. The main advantage of easy language over other programming languages is the learning curve. So easy language is trader talk, basically. So many of the programming words are how you would speak to another trader. For example, we're looking at Bollinger Band's long entry right here. So you enter your inputs. These red words refer to functions. These are active Power Language keywords. So let's say you have condition, current bars bigger than 1, and it crosses over a particular variable. If condition 1 happens, then you buy. For stop loss, this is what the code looks like. So you don't have to be a programmer. You can be a trader. And by just simply looking at a few examples or using pieces of code from here and there, you can start building your own strategy. Okay. I think I'll stop here. This is already a lot of information for people who have never heard of MultiCharts, and maybe not enough for those who know it already. We'll get into more specific questions at the end of the presentation. I just want to, we've covered how to establish a connection to ZenFire. I want to give you guys a quick peek at what MultiCharts is going to be doing real soon and what we've done for learning and for materials, for online materials to help you guys learn and get accustomed to MultiCharts easier. So first of all, my machine is not 64-bit, but MultiCharts 8.0 Beta 1 was released. It is expected to go into a full release, MultiCharts 8.0, in a month or two. It is 64-bit, which means it can use all of the available memory on your computer. Whether you have 8 gigs, 12 gigs, or 24 gigs of RAM, you can use all of that for your optimization, backtesting, trading, charting, so on and so forth. So because of that, any and all limitations on memory that were limiting before have been removed. And this is the first time you can actually use easy language with a true 64-bit application because TradeStation is still not 64-bit. Okay, here is, I'll show you our blog. We have launched, this is where you find all the announcements and all sorts of keywords, the betas that we create. Here's a beta 1, what's new. You can read more on it later on. So we introduced all sorts of getting started wizard to help you configure your data feed the first time you open FC. And we did create a new wiki, where it's a new central place to if you have any questions on MultiCharts or what it does, that's where you go. So here it is. It's available through our main website. Here's a short intro, and we have basically moved the entire help file here, and it'll be updated here. Also, you'll find helpful frequently asked questions articles and different articles. So you've got questions on chart trading or how to connect ZenFire or portfolio backtesting or any of that sort of thing. You can read it up here, and specific Power Language keywords. Here's an example of what the ZenFire broker profile looks like. With particular points like such as a question that was asked recently: does ZenFire support server-side one cancel other groups? This page tells us that no, it does not. Okay. Here's another advantage I wanted to highlight about the easy language compatibility. Here's a cool little indicator that was coded by a member of BMT actually, and and this is really a terrific indicator that he has linked economic events to your MultiCharts, so you can so you can correlate that with your automated trading. For example, if you don't want to be in a position in very volatile times, such as during big events, you can use that, and so on. I believe this indicator can be found on BMT in the Elite section, or on our premium forum that's available to MultiCharts customers. Okay. Here is, lastly, our project management system, which is a public resource for reporting bugs and doing feature requests. Wanted to show you this for a couple of things. Kind of a sneak peek of what's coming up. This is the beta 2 that will be released hopefully towards the end of March, and we've got some nice things going on there, such as a Sharp ratio that people wanted, order fill alerts, such as order filled and voice and so on. Drawing tools, all sorts of drawing tools, things. We are going to implement hotkeys, global hotkeys, so you can customize anything that you do. Define your own shortcuts, and order book data availability in Power Language, and storing data to level 2 data. That was a problem because we didn't have a 64-bit version, and now that's no longer a problem at all. Here is a sneak peek just for you guys of what it's going to look like. So this information will be available basically through the programming, so you can reference it, and it'll be available visually, so you can kind of, if you're trading manually, to see where the volume is, where the activity is, where it's going to go, and so on. Okay. Also, note here, what we're planning to do is improve portfolio backtesting significantly and introduce portfolio trading through your whole portfolio, so your strategies can mix and manage your portfolio, and scanner trading. So we got a market scanner that I didn't touch on today, which is like a quote board where you can see like thousands of symbols, and you should be able to trade from there. So those are all the exciting kind of updates. And
all right, Stan.
Once again, if you have any questions regarding the general stuff, sorry, go on.
Yeah. Lots of great stuff for MultiCharts 8. Really excited. Lots of great things. I really like the wiki. I think that's awesome. So there are a bunch of questions here. I'm going to start reading them to you if you don't mind.
Sure, sounds good.
Let me find the first one. Okay. DW wants to know if MultiCharts supports continuous contracts and how to set them up. And I realize that you can only go into so much detail on the webinar, but you want to touch on that?
Sure. There are two ways you can view a continuous contract. Okay. One way is if the data provider provides it, obviously. IQ Feed, TradeStation does provide it. I believe ZenFire is introducing continuous contract as well. It will be called just ES as opposed to E Stage 2. I don't have an official word for it yet. You may see it soon. I have seen it in beta testing, and it will be available. So if we stream it from the data provider, we obviously show it. For data providers, don't give us a continuous contract. In the quote manager, there is a built-in feature that you can glue individual futures contracts together locally. That is called Add Custom Futures, and this was a complex, very hard thing to implement because there are just so many variables. Yet it works pretty well. So if you add all of the individual contracts locally, such as for the past year or 2 years, to your quote manager, you can glue them together using this thing. So in your case, that would be ZenFire. You would use the ES. For these 4 months, you would need to have the individual contracts added. You'd give it a name, and you choose how to glue it together, essentially, how to roll it over. You choose the adjustment, and this is the symbol that you will get in your MultiCharts. So when you chart it, it'll essentially pull all 4 or 8 or 12 out of your quote manager and show them as the singular data series on your chart. So to answer your question, either from the server or glue them together locally.
Okay, great. So next question, Vance would like to know if, yes, next question is Vance would like to know if market profile is part of MultiCharts, if it's built into MultiCharts, or if you need a third party. I noticed you added something with MultiCharts 8, so maybe you can comment on that.
A market profile, I know it's a popular thing that has been asked. There is an indicator. Some platforms add it as a chart type. Some add it as a built-in indicator. It is available. There is an indicator available for it on our forum, and I believe somewhere it has not been kind of a central point, but I don't see a reason why we can't add it as a default indicator. It's just a matter of going there and doing it. Or there's no big secret or anything. So if you guys, can somebody add
yeah, so you need a project manager entry that people can vote on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can add a feature request, then I'm sure it's not a problem. If I'll just remember and try to schedule it for beta 2, and then hopefully we can get it in there.
All right, guys. So everyone that wants market profile, please go check the MultiCharts project management website, and if there's not already a request, create one, and then you can vote it up. All right, next question, and Bob at Miras, I've turned your microphone back on if you want to answer this. ZenFire question from Brian. He wants to know if there's any update on the spot market dealer partnership for OTCFX.
The right partner hasn't come along just yet, so really that's what's preventing us from moving forward with that. Miras does offer spot forex through several different partners at this time, MB Trading and Gain Capital. It is a separate account than your futures account. So again, we're waiting for the right partner to incorporate with ZenFire. If you've been with us for a while, you may remember there was a time that you could get spot forex data with ZenFire directly, and you could trade forex through one account. We're still looking for the right partner.
Okay, another ZenFire Miras question.
Back up and running.
Sure. Scott would like to know what resources are available via the web. I mean, is there a web trading application or a way to manage open trades through the web with Miras or ZenFire?
Yeah, we currently have something that's available that would allow you to manage and monitor open orders, positions, just speak to your broker representative at Miras for access to the Google Chrome platform.
Okay.
Account management tool.
Another ZenFire question. Paul would like to know, actually I guess this can work or it's a question for MultiCharts as well. Paul would like to know about historical data with ZenFire. Do you guys have it? Does it work with MultiCharts? And a second question from Paul is, does ZenFire provide market internals or market breadth symbols?
ZenFire itself provides real-time data only. So, I believe that historical data in MultiCharts is provided by Rhythmic. but ZenFire is a real-time connection only. As far as the market internals, you know, I think where you're going with that is market profile. So you can see that Stan's going to be working on adding that here shortly. Or are you talking about
Brett.
specific indicators?
Yeah, he's talking
those
about
are cash market. Yeah, sorry about that. The advanced decline, tick trend, those are all cash market indicators. ZenFire at the moment does not connect to any cash markets.
Okay, so Stan, can you answer Paul's question as far as the historical data with ZenFire inside of MultiCharts?
As I pulled up on a web page here, this is what we receive when somebody enters a ZenFire symbol and pulls up a chart. I don't know precisely which servers it is coming from, whether it's ZenFire or Rhythmic, but this is what the trader has access to when pulling up a ZenFire chart.
ZenFire is not regulated as a data vendor, or registered, excuse me, as a data vendor, so it does not. It's not able to provide historical data. It can only give you live market data.
So all of this comes from Rhythmic then?
Yeah, the historical data and your connection with MultiCharts is through Rhythmic.
Okay. DW would like to know if you can trade this is a MultiCharts question. Can you trade different data? This question, I know what he's trying to ask. I'm going to put it in my own words. Can you chart with a data feed different than what you can execute orders on in MultiCharts?
Very good question. You most definitely can, and this is it just kind of results from the fact that we support so many different data feeds and brokers. So you may like the data from, let's say, a professional data provider such as IQFeed, but then you would like to trade on, let's say, Interactive or ZenFire, and that's perfectly fine. We have built this universal translation tool called symbol mapping, which is available through clicking on the broker. What it does essentially, because everybody uses different names for different symbology, so IQFeed may call it @ES pound, and while ZenFire will only understand an order for ESH2. Those names don't correlate, so you need to translate. So essentially all you got to do is pull up an IQFeed chart, for example, if you're using IQFeed. Then you enable the ZenFire broker, and then you enter this symbol mapping window by clicking on the broker that you're dealing with, so ZenFire Server Sim. You get the two columns, so chart symbol and broker symbol. Right now they are the same because I'm using a ZenFire chart, but if I was using an IQFeed chart, on the left-hand side you would have the symbol that IQFeed uses and the broker symbol that ZenFire uses. By default, it's mostly always correct. So your chart, then you place an order, gets translated to this, gets sent to ZenFire. ZenFire responds with a fill or cancel or something, goes back here, gets translated back to the chart symbol, and gets displayed on your chart. So this is like a translator. If this is not set up correctly, you can always edit it yourself by using some of the connection buttons here, or you can do manual editing, or you can try the auto again. Okay, so there is a translation tool, and you can most definitely use, mix and match different data feeds and brokers.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite features.
And that actually.
Sorry, I really like how you could chart like IQFeed data. Or let's say you want to chart ZenFire data on the symbol, but you want to use IQFeed for market breadth. You can actually have two different data providers in the same chart with MultiCharts. So you could have like panel 2 be your tick or trend, and panel 1, panel 2 is coming from IQFeed, and panel 2 is coming from ZenFire. It's really pretty cool. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
No, and I was just saying that's part of what the presentation earlier that I touched on before. When you're trading an automated strategy or wanting to take a look at something that ZenFire doesn't offer, like those market internals, you are able to use both a data vendor and a trading engine in combination with one another, and that's really where it's powerful. And as you can see, in MultiCharts does a very good job of marrying the two together.
Okay, so here's a question, a follow-up on that from myself.
Okay.
Is Mirrors and MultiCharts? I'm not sure I'm not sure which one of you it has to be, but are you guys part of the IQ Feed fee waiver program to reduce the exchange fees?
It would be through the broker, and yes. So what that is referring to is a lot of data vendors out there. When you register to receive data from them, you have to pay exchange fees for that data because the exchange doesn't allow real-time data out their door without you paying for it. But if you have a live brokerage account and trade on a monthly basis with your broker, part of the commissions that you pay is exchange fees. So they're getting paid. And the exchange fee waiver program basically waives the fee that you would typically pay with the data vendor like IQ Feed if you have a live trading account and you are trading with it with your broker like Mirrors. And we are we do have those waiver programs in place with every data vendor pretty much that you can think of.
All right, another ZenFire question from DW. Can you simultaneously trade multiple accounts with the same set of orders?
Yeah, and that's what you would set this up with your broker. That's what you would call a controller account. Sometimes it's also referred to as a block account, but basically it creates a one account number where you'll be trading from, and at the end of the day all your buys and sells are averaged out, so give you one buy price and one sell price, and trades are allocated to the individual accounts at the end of the trading day. But you would set that up with your broker.
Oz has a MultiCharts question. Can you apply a strategy, like one of those templates, to an already open position?
Absolutely, and that's what I did previously. I had an open position, and I had yeah, let me show you. So yes, so I have an open position here. Oops, I'm getting rejected on my orders. I want to find out why. Market not open. Oops. Okay, so let's enable the local sim. That one's always open. So here we switch the broker to local sim. Our accounts switch. Our accounts local sim have switched. So we go buy markets.
I don't know that many markets are going to be open right now. What time is it?
No, this is a local sim. There's just a delay.
Oh, okay.
There's a delay on it. Anyway, yes, you can. Once you have an open order here, you just take one of the entry or exit strategies and you drag it on.
Another really nice.
That's actually one of the nice features that I really like about the platform is if you cancel your orders and you do have a position out there that doesn't have an exit strategy attached, you can go back later and always reapply that strategy. Or you can just set it up that way where you get in and apply the strategy later. It's very flexible in that way.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like is...
okay, so here we've got a limit order.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
One of the things I like is that if you
existing order or something,
if you submit a like a stock order, at a preset price, then I can actually manage. I can put that working order out, to the exchange, and it's set in there pending. And while the entry order is pending, I can also go ahead and manage the target and the stop for that order. Some platforms you have to wait for the entry order to be filled before you could manage the associated, OCO orders. But with MultiCharts, you can do it all at the same time. Okay, Oz would also like to know, Stan, if you can talk about the ability to use C# inside of Easy Language and MultiCharts, and do you have any documentation on that, or a video or something like that?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Excellent question. Where's my thingy here? In the wiki, there may be some entries on using external DLL calling. Essentially, right now, what you can do is, so you have your using language script, then you have a DLL in C# or C++ or whatever you like. You can call that for your calculations from within the EL script and use it that way. So essentially, you get the benefit of both. Whatever help we got currently is here. So the external, I believe, is the method used for DLL calling. Supported by Power Language, a detailed description. Oh, okay. Wiki is still a product working, and we do actually welcome contributors from the community to come and edit pages and help us out, so if you help, helpful. This will be filled up shortly. One more thing that we're considering doing is adding a C# editing environment, basically, to MultiCharts, which is something that we've been kind of thinking about. So you might have an opportunity soon to either code up your strategies in C# right away or easy language right away, and it'll understand them both.
Oh, that would be awesome. If there's an entry,
does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. If there's an entry for a C# direct native editor on project management, then I would like to know about that so I can vote that up. Okay, Mick has a question. Do we have to pay TT, Trading Technology, patent and royalty fees in order to use MultiCharts with a non-moving or static ladder?
Another excellent question. There are no patent fees whatsoever because we don't fall under patent. And the reason we don't fall under it is because we searched it up carefully, and there are two. The patent only covers a fully static mode of the depth of market window. So fully static. Fully static means it never moves no matter what unless trader moves it. So that is the version that's patented. Ours, there are two versions. It's either dynamic or it's called semi-static. So if it goes off screen, after 5 seconds, it will recenter itself. Therefore, there is still a possibility for error because it jumps itself without the user's input, and therefore it does not fall under the patent.
Billy would like to know when email alerts for signals will be implemented so that his signal can fire him an email whenever it's executing a trade.
Good question. I don't have an exact EDA on that. I know people have been asking for it. Check the PM, please. If there is no entry for that, please add one. We are working to, as we are finishing up most of the major features, such as portfolio trading and 64-bitness. What we're going to focus on is improving user experience. So this is one of those things like adding voice to the depth of market window, like order filled and so on. That might be one of the things that we look at. There's difficulties with SSL encryption and all sorts of things when dealing with email that we might add it very soon.
Oz would like to know if you guys have any discounts available for BMT users switching from NinjaTrader.
Yes, actually there is an offer. It's semi-permanent. At least I don't know when. There is no expiration date. We freely tell to everybody, if you have a lifetime license of NinjaTrader, you are welcome to a lifetime of MultiCharts for only $9.97. Which is a 33% discount over the regular price of $14.97 for a lifetime license. So all you have to do is show us proof that you own one, and you automatically get this discount.
Okay. Do you have a slide or anything with contact?
And that goes for other platforms. I'm sorry.
Sure. Do you have a slide with contact info on how to contact you or anything for that? Or should they just email you? Or how?
Yeah, well, it's let me show you. There is, again, on our site, there is contact us. So just...
Okay. All right.
There's got to be a contact me form somewhere.
All right. Zephyr would like to know when MultiCharts 64-bit will be released.
MultiCharts 6-bit in beta version MultiCharts download page. You can download it and use it. It's a very stable beta from what I've heard. People have not had many difficulties with it. If you want to wait until the release, the actual release is expected sometime April, end of March, no, more like April, end of April. So.
Jay would like to know, how hard is it for someone to...
So you can use it now, but it's not...
Sorry, there's a big delay, it seems, today. Jay would like to know, how hard is it for someone that is new to MultiCharts to set up an automated strategy that is already coded inside of your platform? And do you offer any assistance for strategy programming yourself?
We don't offer assistance for the actual trading bit, and so whatever you decide to trade, or we don't provide advice on that. In order to, as I've shown before, that's already coded up within MultiCharts. All you do is go insert study, signals, choose one or two, and you click OK, and then you are set up to actually start trading. You click this button to turn it on, and you click yes, and then automated trading will enable. So there is the setting up already coded studies. Now, whether that's what you want,
right. So if Jay wants to hire someone to program for him, is MultiCharts available to hire, or do you send them to a third party?
We do provide custom programming solutions to people. We are not the cheapest provider because that's our main, that's not what we do. We usually focus on building the platform. We are able to recommend third-party partners that we have in our network that are kind of proven and reliable. So you can contact me and then I'll direct you from there.
And I'd also like to say there's a lot of people on BMT that'll do it for free if you can convince them that they...
There you go.
Yeah, that it's helpful, or there's some people that will do it, you know, for a cost on BMT. Oz would like to know, he would like to confirm or clarify that you can add a trailing stop strategy to the open position. So I think we've covered that.
Absolutely.
Yes, okay. Billy would like to know, well, we already answered that one actually. DW, okay, Brad has a follow-up question, and then I'll tag DW's question on it as well. Brad would like to know, does the lifetime license discount that you mentioned for NinjaTrader, does that apply to all other platforms as well, such as NeoTicker? And DW would like to know, what does MultiCharts cost?
I believe it also applies to NeoTicker and a couple of others. I don't have the exact list here in front of me. So if you would like to know more, please email us, support@multicharts.com, or me directly, and we'll let you know. In general, MultiCharts costs are on our website. Where is it? You go to Buy Now. We've got $14.97 for the lifetime. What was the dome doing? My computer is really slow and kind of laggy, so apologies. We've got the lifetime is what you're looking for, is the $14.97. This is an annual, semi-annual, or a 3-month. And if you're not into any sort of programming, you just want to do some manual trading, you can use the MCDT version here.
Okay, Ken would like to know if strategies are saved with the workspace in MultiCharts.
Yes, yes, they are. So a workspace like here, I have saved ZenFire ES chart depth of market. Every chart, every element, drawing, and so on and so forth, it's saved within this workspace. So it's like a complete, set. So when you open it again, you will see everything.
Mark would like to know that MultiCharts does store historical tick data.
Yes, MultiCharts stores historical tick data, minute data, and daily data.
Mick would like to know that you can install MultiCharts on...
For anything to look.
Sorry, that delay is killing us. Mick would like to know if you can install MultiCharts on Windows Server 2008.
It's a good question. I believe, yes, you can install it on that version. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm
you can.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Again, for clarification, email support@multicharts.com.
Yeah, I've done it before. It works fine, Mick. Joseph, let me try to pick apart this question. He says that since ZenFire does not support OCO natively, and MultiCharts says OCO works on multiple... Joseph, you're going to have to type that question again. Sorry, I'm not understanding what the actual question is. Okay. Going down. Some questions have already been answered. Billy wants to know, can you link the DOM and the chart together so when you change one or the other, it will change the other one? So yeah, you can link them together, I'm sure. Ken would like, Ken would like to know, can you, on the free version of MultiCharts, can you trade, live cash?
I'm sorry,
you can trade a live account.
I couldn't hear the question.
Yeah, you can trade a live account with the free version of MultiCharts.
Yeah, MultiCharts Discretionary Trader is free, and it does not limit you to SIM. You can trade cash. My understanding is the only thing that you cannot do with the free version is any kind of custom studies or automated strategies. So Stan can clarify that.
Correct.
Okay. And Michael would like to confirm that if we take you up on the MultiCharts upgrade offer, he's coming from a Ninja lifetime license. Does he get to keep his Ninja lifetime license as well?
Oh, absolutely. We don't take anything away from you. What you've purchased is just adding another tool into your arsenal, and we just kind of make it easier for you to have both. Since you've already expended money on one, so we make it easier for you to have another.
Joseph would like to know, what is the difference between the $10,000 Pro version and the $1,500 regular version? And also, at this time, since we've been going for an hour and a half, I want to say that we're going to stop the questions. And if anybody has any other questions after this, then we'll get some contact info from Miris here in a minute, and you can email Miris directly, or you can email Stan directly. So we're going to make this the last question.
The difference between the Pro and the regular lifetime currently is the ability to use two professional data feeds. One is Bloomberg. The other one is Thomson Reuters, Real Market RMDS, and Tick History Connections. So both of those are institutional. We will be adding more differentiators geared towards institutional traders as time goes on. Right now, it's just those two data feeds. That's the difference.
Okay. I was thinking that you also did some type of programming for that version on demand? Or?
Not anymore, no.
Oh, okay.
That was not something that institutional people required.
Okay, my bad. All right, guys. Bob, do you have... can you give out your contact info if anybody has any questions for Miris or ZenFire?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if I share my screen again?
Yeah, Stan, do you have anything else to show us, or can I turn it back to...
I don't. I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Stan. Here comes Bob's contact info at Miris.
Let's let's see. You guys can all see, I'm sure. We do offer a free 30-day trial of ZenFire with MultiCharts. You can register directly on our website. As you can see from the screenshot, it's in the upper right-hand corner, the Open Account section, Demo Account for MultiCharts. We do have some additional services. I mentioned hosting options. If you wanted to install it on that Windows 2008 server, you could install that with us and host with ZenFire in the same data center as the Exchange. So we do have some additional services to offer as well. You can reach out to us through any number of mediums. We do have a lot of training material and webinars available on our website. And if you have questions on any of our services or technology, feel free to email us at info@mirasfutures.com.
All right. Thank you, Bob. And so Stan also mentioned, so you can contact Stan through the MultiCharts website, and he also is known as the user MultiCharts on BMT if you want to send him a private message. I know that some of the questions we're going to leave unanswered, but the webinar is long enough, so any questions that you want to get answered that we didn't already cover, just email Bob or Stan. All right, guys.
And I really want to thank you, Mike, and Stan for having us and everybody that attended. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Stan.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. I'll post the recording for the webinar sometime tomorrow, and I'll see everybody on the forum. Thanks.